Hello, can you hear me? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hello, welcome to Atomic Movie Reviews Film Society. I'm your host, Atomicon Rex. Here we discuss films that have a narrative background and aliens, ghosts, robots, and creatures. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, today we're gonna do a deep dive. We're gonna do a deep dive into what is known as Slide 9 from the Department of Defense. I came across this information on a channel called Vetted. It's a really new channel. At least it's new to me. That came across my vision. I was doing research on that whole Miami incident where these kids opened a portal to the other side, and they came in and started tearing stuff up in the mall. And so I was doing research on that, and then I came across his channel, and I kind of like his delivery. So, you guys might want to check him out. The show's called Vetted. Anyways, so deep dive into Slide 9. So it's basically bullet points of the DoD's response to the phenomenon, and what ATIP was basically their guiding light. So I'll talk about it a little bit here, and then it's just gonna be a little quick update, deep dive into Slide 9. Okay, so let me get my notes here. Sorry, give me a minute. Give me a minute. All right, so Slide 9. So basically, it starts off with basically saying that the phenomenon is an enemy of the United States government, right? So I'm just gonna put that in the air. The United States government considers the phenomenon an enemy. Now, if it's an enemy of the United States government or the American people or whatever, I'll let you decide as an individual. It can manipulate cognitive environments. It means that it could enter your dreamscapes and mess with your dreams and change your motivations. Okay, so all of a sudden you wake up, you have a nightmare of some ghost or some paranormal activity, and now you're completely obsessed with growing oranges or prepping for doomsday or building, I don't know, a telescope. Like it's kind of like that. Okay, it can manipulate your mind. Psychotronic weaponry. This is basically the Havana syndrome. This is why the government feels that it's under attack. So basically, the CIA at the U.S. embassies across the world, but it basically happened in Cuba, Havana, Cuba, where these agents heard a loud noise, and all of a sudden they got dizzy. They started throwing up. Now they have this mental fog in their mind. They can't really think straight and everything like that. That's a psychotronic weapon. They believe that was used against DIA, CIA, and all of these people. Okay, next bullet point: cognitive human interface. So when I was doing the research, I clicked on something, and of course Louis came up, and you know how he does. He doesn't answer any question. Okay, he just dances around every single question. But I did get some gems out of there. Okay, so he basically says cognitive human interface (CHI) is your CE5. What Steve Greer's what he champions: summoning angels, meditating and fasting, and all that Jesus Christian stuff. Right? You meditate, you fast, you climb on top of a mountain, you can summon an angel. Um, and so it's another thing. It's another reason why the CIA is invested in psychics, because I guess psychics have a connection to the UFO phenomenon. They're able to communicate with the craft or control the craft or some combination of that. Okay, craft can the phenomenon can penetrate solid surfaces, like it if it flies into something like a mountain and literally just flies into the mountain. Instant sensory disassembly. Okay, now there are two aspects to this. There's the whole Skinwalker Ranch thing where they set up cameras and they lock these cameras in the boxes, and they open up the box and the camera's completely dismantled, but the lock on the box is still on there. Okay, it could do that. Another thing with instant sensor disassembly is cattle mutilations. It could disassemble the cattle, basically drain it of blood and just leave it there. And you're gonna be perplexed because like the heart is gonna be missing or some random organ is gonna be missing out of these cattle, and you're not gonna be able to understand how it did it or what it did it. It's meant to perplex you. It's meant to confound your understanding. Okay. Um, so that's what instant sensor disassembly is, at least in my opinion. That's what that is. Alteration of biological organisms. So basically, they said like everybody who comes down, who comes across a UFO, who sees one up close, is going to come down with some sort of disease, some sort of it could be a skin disease, sunburn, cancer, and sometimes it heals diseases, but most of the time it does cause some sort of biological effect. Some people say that it's just a byproduct of coming across a UFO, but the government feels that it's an attack. Okay, if you see a UFO and you get sick with cancer or some element comes down, you come down with some illness, the government is going to consider that an attack. The issue with the government and its pilots and the people who come across UFO phenomena, at least according to this report, is that they can't get benefits for demonic possession and ghost hauntings and stuff like that, even though that's what happens. So, like David Fravor and all of those pilots that came across the UFO, they're probably haunted. Okay, they have probably some crazy element or illness that they're dealing with. That one they don't want to disclose to the public because it's personal. And two, the government is not going to cover their health insurance anyway. Their psychological, mental well being or anything like that. There's nothing to cover. They're not covered under that. So that's just something that we should think about. Anomalies in space time. Okay, so I guess it can manipulate our very perception of time. So that's what you see when people have abduction experiences and they experience missing time, or huge, they go to sleep on a Tuesday and they wake up Saturday, or they get abducted in one place and then they seem to be gone for days and years where they're at, but in reality it's only been 5 hours or vice versa. There's some sort of time manipulation effect going on. And so the government, the CIA, whatever, however they were testing it, they were like, the phenomenon, we can make an experiment that 2 plus 2 equals 4. The phenomenon would turn back the hands of time and make 2 plus 2 equal 27. And that's how the phenomenon like messes with people's mind and their experiments. So you can't really test the phenomenon or come up with a adequate analysis of the phenomenon because it controls space and time. So you start working on a formula, you start working something out, it turns back the hands of time. All right. And then now your experiments or your formulas that you created are really obsolete. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So another thing is unique cognitive human interface experience. So I guess that is contact. That's hearing voices in your head. That's seeing visions of the future and doing all of these things. So, okay. Well, I just wanted to, I came across some new information. I thought it was really interesting. I'm going to try to come up with some unique slides, to ponder on as I post this. But that's it. I just wanted to talk about that deep dive. So slide 9 is the deep dive. Atomicon Rex out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.